guys, it's Ty with Ty the Dog Guy on the Daily. If you're watching the video portion here of the podcast, you can see that I'm standing in front of our Christmas tree. But I'm not bringing you good tidings. You see how I weaved that in? That was amazing, huh? I'm not bringing you good tidings today. I'm going to tell you something that will quite possibly... It tends to make people angry when I say it. And I can say it in the sweetest way possible, or I can say it like a jerk. It doesn't matter. People tend to get angry because they have kind of this emotional reaction to hearing something that goes against what they're used to hearing. So here's the statement. Your dog does not want to protect you. Probably. Let me repeat that. It's highly unlikely that your dog wants to protect you. Now, like I say, this tends to upset a lot of people because a lot of people swear, up and down that, oh no, my dog definitely wants to protect me. My dog loves me, things like that. And there's no doubt, in most cases that the dog loves the owner. Sometimes that's not the case, but almost always the dog loves the owner. But you have to see things from the dog's point of view. Dogs are interested in self-preservation, just like you and I. You and I are very interested in self-preservation. And so, humans also do a lot of things based on certain moral codes. And so, but even then, so for example, if you see, people walking down the street and someone's getting mugged, they've done studies on this. Oftentimes people just ignore it. Now granted, that's not necessarily their family member or something like that, but dogs are interested in self-preservation. And so they don't automatically have this desire to say, I live with this person, let me protect them. Now it does happen. So like I say, it's unlikely that your dog does, but it does happen. So the question then comes up from people then, all right, well explain to me why when I'm on a walk and somebody approaches, my dog barks or whatever. Or explain to me why my dog barks out the front window when the mailman comes. Or explain to me why, my dog tried to attack somebody when we were on a walk the other day. And let me explain a few things here. So, in certain cases, we're talking about territorialness. The dog simply is saying, this is my house, I need to protect it. And that's a good thing, I like that. We want to be able to have control and things like that, but I like a dog who has some territorialness. And if they don't, that's fine too. But, I've got two dogs. One's fairly territorial, the other's not. And so like I said, my Rottweiler, who I used to own, was incredibly territorial. You put him somewhere, he's there for 2 minutes, and he's like, yep, this is mine. I'm going to protect it now. And so, so in that case, the dog's not trying to protect you, is not trying to protect the family. When the dog sleeps near the front door and barks at things that are happening, that is not the dog trying to protect you in the majority of the cases. That's a dog trying to protect what he views as his. This is my territory. This is my abode. This is where I sleep. This is where I live. This is where I eat. Get away from it. And so that's territorialness. That's not the dog trying to protect you. Okay, so what about when we're not on our territory? What about when we're out and about and the dog growls at people when they come close? So, in most cases, believe it or not, this again is another case of the dog having self-preservation. The dog's not growling like, oh, get away from my owner, I really like this guy. The dog is more than likely growling for one of two reasons. Reason number one is insecurity. The dog is insecure about somebody approaching, doesn't see the owner as a leader, and says, shoot, this owner's not taking care of the situation. In reality, there is no situation, but the dog perceives it as such. So the owner says, or the dog says, this owner's not taking care of this situation, I'm going to take care of it, growl, bark, bite, whatever. And so that's simple self-preservation. The dog doesn't see that person on the other end of the leash as a leader and doesn't see themselves as being safe, and so they've got to protect themselves. So that's case number one. Case number two is the dog is kind of protecting the owner, but in the sense that the dog is like, this is my property. You see this dude right here? This dude picks up my crap. He gives me food. He lets me do whatever I want. I can jump on people. I can chew up his shoes. I can do whatever I want. I can pull on the leash. I can not listen to him. This is my person. And so we're at a position of possessiveness. And so we're talking about a dog who, dogs sometimes growl when people come near food, or they growl when, someone comes near their toy or a resource that is theirs. they're simply seeing that person as a resource. So they're not trying to protect the owner, sensing any sort of danger or any sort of like, oh, I got to make sure that the owner's okay. They're trying to protect their possession. And so that's not usually a good thing. It's not usually a good thing because it's, there's a relationship imbalance there. So has it ever happened that the dog's like, oh, I'm a really well-balanced dog. Oh, here comes a threat. I really love my owner. I'm going to protect him or her. Yes, that has happened. But that's going to be the vast minority, where the majority is an insecure dog and or a dog who feels like I need to protect this thing that belongs to me. So when we're talking about protection, like police dogs, when police dogs, for example, go out there and bite the bad guy, they're not doing it with any thought that, oh, this is my owner's job, this is going to make my owner's life easier, this is going to protect my owner, this is going to protect my handler, this cop behind me, this is going to make it, this is going to be good for him. The dog does not think that at all. The dog is saying, I get to bite the bad guy. And for me, that's a lot of fun. So for dogs like that, they're getting something out of it. And what they get out of it is being able to bite the bad guy. So these are dogs specifically bred to enjoy biting things. So they're not doing it to protect the owner. They're doing it to get what they want. And the same is true for a lot of personal protection dogs. Now, when I've trained personal protection dogs or sold personal protection dogs, always, a nice bond occurs. And so I would like to believe that maybe there's something in there of the dog saying, oh, this is my family, let me protect them. There might be some of that in there. But more than that is just a trained behavior where the dog's like, I get something really good out of this. I get to bite things, and that is a lot of fun. And so that's why I'm going to do this. Or I want to protect this home because this is my home, or, things like that. So, like I say, whenever I try to explain this to folks, I often end up with folks that are angry and swear to me up and down, no, my dog loves me, he's going to, he tries to protect me. In fact, here was this instance where he did. And sometimes, it's accurate, but more often than not, the instance that they describe is simply an instance of exactly what I mentioned. It falls under the category of the dog trying to possess, the human, or the dog feeling insecure, things like that. It's just the reality behind dogs. I love dogs, but dogs are self-interested creatures just like we as humans are self-interested creatures. So bear that in mind. Don't necessarily head out into the bad part of town with your dog thinking that your dog's going to protect you because he loves you. Given the opportunity, most dogs will take off running the other way when the crap hits the fan. So if you want a protection dog, that's a lot of training. But if you want your dog to protect you because he loves you, maybe it's going to happen, but I wouldn't count on it.